today we have with us Partho. He's the author of the book, recently released book, Somewhere Among the Stars, and it is a spiritual fiction. But one thing I would want to say about this book is that if you want to know about Vedanta and what higher consciousness is, what Krishna is, what his teachings are, then I think this is the book you must pick up. Welcome, Partho.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Rajkumar ji.
yeah. So, Partho, I'll straight away begin. So, is this, you've talked about Ahana in the book. So, is it actually a fiction, or Ahana is a woman that you've met and you have turned a story into a fiction?
Uh, Everything is based on real life events and experience. Mostly it's all experiences, that hardly any event really. The most of it, I would say almost all of it is based on real life experiences, yogic experiences of a woman whom I've called Rahana in this book.
So, it's one woman or different women whose
One
experience
woman.
you've
One woman.
Okay, okay. But you don't want to call it a biography. That is what you've written also. You don't want to call it a
No,
biography, or you want to
no,
name the woman who she is, like identify so that people can know.
no.
Is there a reason behind it?
She didn't want it that way.
Okay, okay. So this book is more about your understanding of spiritualism and mysticism, or Ahana's version of it.
It's
Because from the
Ana's Vedanta, and obviously I can't keep myself out of it since I'm also a practitioner of Vedanta. So
okay.
there's a point where her Vedanta and my Vedanta are not different because she's my mentor, my teacher,
Okay.
one of my
Okay.
mentors and teachers in Vedanta.
Okay. So, if I may ask, when did you actually enter into spiritualism?
Spiritualism, Vedanta. I
Vedanta.
would
Okay.
prefer Vedanta.
Okay.
Because spirituality or spiritualism are themselves very broad terms. And when I was 26, 25, 26, so that's when I got my first experience. And after that, about the age of 27, I left. Formally, I left for the Himalayas and took to life, to the Vedantic
Okay. Okay.
exploration.
So, how long you were there in Himalayas, and
Many years.
how long were you there?
On and off, many years. I would go and
Acha.
come back, but
Okay. But how important is I see many people who are into spiritualism or Vedanta, as you call it. They do go to Himalayas. So, what
no,
is
again,
the
Vedanta is in my context only. You may probably call it spirituality. That's fine.
Huh. No, no, that's fine. Vedanta is your thing. Uh, how important are Himalayas?
No, really, depends on a whole lot of factors. It's not indispensable. I mean, you don't have to go to the Himalayas.
But what was your calling to go there?
Uh, I just wanted to go to the Himalayas. I mean, I don't think I, rationalized it. I didn't
Okay,
think it out.
okay.
I just
So
wanted
it
to
was
go
just a
to the
feeling that you
Himalayas.
wanted to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Maybe some past sanskars too.
So when was it that you thought of writing a story about of Ahana, and how did you go about it?
So I've been taking my notes for many years.
Hmm.
I usually document a lot of things. Including my own experiences. So I've had a lot of notes with me. Anna's, whatever I've written in the book, all those, everything has been with me for many years. So I think somewhere along the line, I felt it's time to put it down in print and No, let other people read it and know it.
Okay.
So there was
And
no particular time where I decided. This happened.
okay. Okay. And how much time did you take to complete the book, like cover to cover?
Oh, 9 months, I think. Yeah, 8, 9 months.
Okay. Okay. And did you find writing about Vedanta through Ahana, through Krishna, uh, challenging?
No, it was quite a joy to write.
Okay. And is there a reason that you kept Varuni is actually the name, actually says in the book, Varuni is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
actually name she gave you?
Yes, Adi Varuni, yes.
Okay. 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 And Vedanta, if you talk about Vedanta, who did you study Vedanta from? Is there one like school of learning?
No. I was, okay, now, how do you want me to say it as it is?
Hello.
My Vedanta comes from Swami Vivekananda.
I lost you, Partho.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I said
yeah.
my Vedanta comes first from Swami Vivekananda and then Sri Aurobindo.
Yeah,
So
Aurobindo has a lot of influence on you.
he's my guru.
Okay. And it's only through the books that you have, like, it's the inner knowledge you've gained through the books, or apart from Ahana, you have some guru whom you regularly remain in touch, or what is
No,
your
I don't.
practice?
I never had any human guru.
Acha.
My only guru is Sri Aurobindo, and Swami
Okay.
Vivekananda is my inspiration.
Okay. Okay. And how do you differentiate between spiritualism and mysticism and Vedanta? How do you keep the three?
They're not strict categories. Spiritualism, I do not know what that means. Spirituality probably comes from what is spirituality? Living spiritually would be spirituality for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is not an ism in that sense, which is why I don't use the word spiritualism. And in the
Okay.
English language, spiritualism has other connotations. So spirituality is living spiritually, which means what? Which means living in the spirit, living in the soul, adhyatmic.
Yeah.
So if your life is a quest for self-finding, finding of the soul, and discovering the soul, discovering the self, and living in the self, then you're spiritual. Otherwise, no.
Vedanta is the way to do that.
It's about the same thing. Vedanta again is not a system. Vedanta is I don't. It's a darshan based on
Philosophy.
experience. Again, the difference, whole lot of difference between darshan and philosophy. So when we use the English word philosophy, then it no, it implies study, pursuit of knowledge, reasoning, using your reasoning to reach certain conclusions. Darshan does involve some study and reasoning, but that's a very small part of it. Darshan is more to do with anubhav. It is darshan is what you see and what you know by what you see. And if I see it, then I know it. There's no reasoning involved. It's intuitive and it's an inner seeing. So Vedanta is that. It's the realization of the self. Really, if I have to put Vedanta in one simple sentence, it's realizing the self.
And what about mysticism?
Mysticism again is an approach. It's what is mysticism again? Essentially the same thing. It's when you realize in your inner experience the oneness of being, that everything is one, and that one is the supreme divine reality, and you live that. You have experiences and experiences of that. You're realizing that in different parts of your being, and that is beginning to live through you. All that is mysticism. Yeah.
And where does religion come into this?
It
Is
doesn't
religion
really.
important?
For
Is
Vedanta,
religion?
no. No, again, I would ask you to define religion, because it's another very wide word with so many
Religion,
connotations.
yeah.
What do you mean by
So
religion?
religion, we have Christianity, we have Hinduism, we have Islam. So that's a way of living or way of approaching God.
So if you're talking about practiced religion,
Yeah, the practice.
Orthodox practiced religion. No, then Vedanta has nothing to do with any of it.
Okay, so it is something what
Spiritual
I understand.
spirituality and religion are two different things.
But spirituality is religion imbibes spirituality.
Spirituality,
No.
very simple. Living in the spirit. That's it.
So no matter what way you what you practice.
Then you don't practice anything. If you're living in the self, in the soul,
Okay.
you don't need to practice anything.
Okay. So another thing is that you've been into spiritualism, into Vedanta for long and living in the spirit and all. So, and is it possible to practice Vedanta and live like a normal human life?
No, there are no contradictions between the two. Again,
So,
living in the spirit means what? It's living in the inner consciousness. Right? You can live in the inner consciousness wherever you are. It doesn't matter.
so what's your,
If
what
if
what?
if anything does matter to you, then you're not truly living in the inner consciousness. Then you're still living in the outer consciousness where it matters where you are. But if you're living in the
Yeah.
inner consciousness, it doesn't matter. The outer doesn't matter. It's there.
So
You make
so
use of it.
yeah,
But that's it.
I understand. I understand. Yeah. Then how challenging is it to live? It's not very easy to live
No,
in
it's
the
not
spirit
challenging
on the
at all.
when you are affected by.
No, it's
Okay.
more difficult to live outside the spirit. Very
Okay.
challenging to live in the ordinary world. I mean, is it not? You have to think about
Yeah, it is.
it. Yeah. And living in the spirit is supremely easy and joyful.
Okay. So is there a practice you follow? Like through the day, if
No,
I ask you?
no, 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 no,
No, not at all?
no. There's no practice I follow.
Okay. So, in the book, as in the life that you've written, that Ahana has been your guru, is your guru, and in the book, Ahana's
An
guru,
inspiration, a mentor, a teacher.
mentor, teacher, yeah, and in the
Guru is
book,
different.
okay, would you? I would want to. I would want you to explain a bit about that.
A teacher, mentor. In the tradition, we call it acharya.
Yeah.
So an acharya is there to bring the teachings to you and explain the teachings wherever you need explanations. It's like you want to understand physics, so you go to a physics teacher, one who knows physics, and he or she will be able to explain the physics to you wherever you get stuck, and will be able to tell you, what books to read and what processes to follow to get your own physics right. So same thing applies to Vedanta. There are teachers, there are acharyas who bring the teaching to you, explain the teaching in their own, their own interpretation of the teachings, and they tell you, this is my interpretation. This is how
Yeah.
it's come to me. You have to find your own path. This is my path, but I can share with you whatever is relevant to you. But that's
So who's the
that's it. That's Guru is one who takes your spiritual responsibility upon himself or herself. Guru Shishya relationship is probably the ultimate relationship human beings can have. The Guru takes you in within himself or herself. You become part of the Guru's process, inner consciousness. Your spiritual responsibility, not just spiritual, your life responsibility is the Guru takes that. Your karma is taken on by the Guru. The guru is the
Okay.
divine's direct grace in your life and your being. So not everyone can be a guru, and not everyone is allowed to be a guru. It's the divine alone that gives you the adesh to be a guru to someone. You can't just be a guru to someone.
Do you have a guru?
Sri Aurobindo and the mother.
Acha, that way. Not anybody living.
No.
No. And in the book, Ahana's, so who do we call Krishna in the book? Who is Krishna for Ahana? Krishna is
The whole
Guru for Ahana, right?
everything. Krishna is
And
everything for Hana.
yeah, and how important is it to have a Guru? Because see, in the book, you've written that when Krishna blesses or Anandima blesses her, then a chill run down her spine and all. I take it as a chakra awakening or something of that sort. So, but I also think that the awakening, as you said earlier, also it comes from within. One has to work on the self to get that. So, don't you think that these two things are a bit contradicting each other? Something you are getting
You're breaking up.
directly, and
I just lost you. You broke up there.
something which you have to do it on. I keep losing you, yeah.
I'm losing you right now.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm losing you right now.
Yeah, but I can see you. I can't. Hello.
Can you get me now? Are you? Am I heard?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear
Yeah,
you now.
yeah.
Yeah. What were you asking?
So I was saying that in the book, you've written that when Krishna blesses Anandi, no, sorry, Ahana, or when Anandi Ma is blessing her, a chill run down her spine and she can get that energy and all. This I take as the awakening of chakras from whatever
No. I mean
I
that it's
have read about it.
no that
That's
you don't have
not
to take it as anything. The awakening of chakras
okay.
is a very different thing altogether.
Okay.
So it's just when a highly spiritual being, and Anandima was a very, very spiritually evolved being. She too, her character too is based on a real sadhaka of a very, very high order. So when a being of that kind touches you, things are bound to happen to your psychic body, to your inner body. So that is what happens. But so what's your question? I mean,
Isn't that my question was what I understand from whatever I have read that when the highly spiritual people bless you, as you've written also, that you get hello,
I'm
you get
losing.
energy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. No, it's
Can you hear
not
me
just.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you. So it's not just getting energy. Well, a lot of things
What
happen.
is it then?
It depends on. I mean, see, again, it's from person to person. What happens to one person it does not necessarily happen to another person, and one may interpret it as getting energy. But then these are. I always suggest to people not to label things. Like this is awakening of chakras and this is getting energy, and these are all labelings, and labelings don't make sense. You never know what happens within unless you've experienced it, and when you've experienced it you don't need labels anyway. It's like when you experience the sunset in the Himalayas, you get a bhav, right? You get something happens to you, but how do you label that? Maybe you can write a poem about it, but you can't label it.
So it's
But the
just the
moment you
feeling.
label it, you're using someone else's
Yeah.
experience at some other time with in some other context. And then you're picking up that label and putting it on your experience,
Yeah.
which is completely wrong. Why should you label?
Okay. So, according to you, it is just the experience, nothing. What matters and what one should consider is just the experience that you gain out of it.
No, the experience is one part of it.
Hello.
Experience leads to awakening. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I keep losing you. I don't know what's happening today.
And I keep losing you too. So I think something to do with your network, because my network is pretty good here.
My network is fine.
So then
It's pretty
maybe this
strong here.
happens. Yeah, mine is
Huh.
also strong. So I
So,
don't know. Anyway, I mean, we'll keep coming back to it.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So, you mean to say that it's just the experience that one should consider and nothing else, and not think.
So what I was saying is, yes, that is true. One has to go by one's own inner experience. But experience is not all of it. Experience leads to many other things. It leads to an opening. It leads to understanding, to knowledge, to intuition, to anubhuti, which is deeper than just experience. It's a realization. So experience is the first, let me say, the first indispensable step. But then it leads on to several other things.
Yeah. Yeah. And in daily life, I would want to know that how much of importance does meditation hold?
Again, it depends on the person. First and foremost, it depends on the definition. What do you mean by meditation? Once you have defined that, then you will find that it depends on the person, on the path, on the process, on the stage that one is at, the uddesha that one has. All these things come in. So there's no one-time easy answer that fits everyone. For some
Do
people,
you
meditation
meditate
is
on
very
daily
important.
basis?
No, again,
Like sit
I mean,
quietly,
you have to explain meditation. What does it mean? Meditation means so many things to so many people.
like sitting quietly and thinking
I
inwardly,
don't. I don't. There's no
sitting
thinking
quietly and
involved. I don't have to sit quiet. I'm very quiet, sitting quietly right now. Right now, I'm sitting very quietly. So it's not meditation that's important. It's a meditativeness that is much more important. And you can go on
oh,
meditating and not come to any meditativeness at all. And once
yeah.
you're in a meditative state, then you don't need to sit down and meditate. So as I said, it depends on what we mean by these words. I mean, most of us use these words
So
very loosely.
yeah, that's true. So if I want to ask you, if I want to know, uh, what is one way to live in the spirit?
Not to live.
If you could explain it,
So
how to live
living
in
in
the
the
spirit.
spirit means you don't live where you live else. I mean, most of us are not living in the spirit, right? That's why the question, how to live in the spirit. Now, if you're not living in the spirit, where are you living? Where's your station, your sthiti in life? So for many, it is in the body. Not for some who are a bit more evolved, it's in the body and the vital, the sharir and the pranamaya. For those who are a bit more evolved, it's in the pranamaya and the manomaya, the vital and the mind. For very refined human beings who have started living in the mind all the time, buddhijeevis, the true buddhijeevi, their station is in the mind. After and deeper than all that is the spirit. So if you want to live in the spirit, then you have to first stop living in the body, in the vital, in the mind, in memories, in desires, in relations, in constant externalization. All that has to cease. And then by and by, as all these things fall away from you, your mind becomes silent, your vital being, your emotional being becomes quiet, calm. Your body also starts living in that quietude. Then gradually you begin to experience the spirit in you. First,
Okay.
tentative experiences, and then a lot of inner work has to be done of beginning to live all the time in the spirit, yet using your mind and your body. Because if you don't use your mind and body, then you can't live in this world. So all that has to be done. So all that is what in Sanskrit we call a sadhana.
Not an easy thing by any means.
I think it's a question of perspective. It's not an easy thing to live in the ordinary world, where 18 out of 24 hours you have to work just to earn money. That's not an easy thing at all.
Yeah, that's true. Perspectives.
Perspective.
Yeah. So this is your first book, and are you writing any other book?
Yes. I am. I'm working on two books. One is another work of fiction, and the other is a book on dharma, Hindu dharma, Sanatan dharma, actually.
Okay. And when do we expect those books to be out?
The book on Sanatan dharma should be out in another couple of months.
Okay. And the other fiction is also related
after
to
that,
Vedanta
yeah.
or something?
Yes,
Is it also
everything is related to Vedanta for me.
Okay. Okay. So what prompts you to write on Sanatan Dharma?
Because
Just
I find very few people understand Sanatan dharma. A lot of
okay.
people are now talking about Sanatan dharma, Hindu dharma, but I find there's not enough informed understanding for a public discourse to happen. And I feel our country has come to a point where we need more and more public discourse on dharma, on Sanatan dharma, Hindu dharma, Buddha dharma, dharma itself. We have to bring back the dharma to the center stage. So
Okay.
if I feel I can
So-
share something, I share. And I feel that a lot of people can share a lot of things. And the more people share, the more it comes center stage. The more people talk
So
about
this
it, the more
dharma that
people
you're talking
understand.
about, so dharma you talk about is different from religion? What I was asking you?
Yes, it is. See, dharma is not, it doesn't translate into religion at all. Religion, as used in the Abrahamic sense, for instance, is not what dharma is.
Okay. I
Dharma
understand.
comes from the root word dhri, which means to hold, to bear. So that which bears all existence is dharma. And of course, much more. That's just the first etymological
So we look
understanding.
forward to your.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll gain much more from your book on Sanatan Dharma. And we look forward to it. Yeah. And thank you so much, Partho, for
Thank
talking
you.
to us
Thank you.
and giving us understanding into the spiritualism and Vedanta, as you say. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you.